A pleasant good evening. My name is Christopher Jones, welcoming you back to Congress Place, Sophia, the headquarters of the People's National Congress Reform, as we await the official results of the 21st Biannual Delegates Congress that was had today across the length and breadth of Guyana, and of course including the North American region of the PNC. Several regions or regional locations would have made their submission to the CEO, the Chief Elections Officer, Mr. Vincent Alexander, of which we are still awaiting the larger regions such as Region 4, Region 5, Region 6, Region 3, and Region 10. And of course, at the completion of their tabulation, that information will be transmitted to Mr. Vincent Alexander, who is the CEO, for the official tabulation and the official declaration of the results. Just to give you some insight in terms of what is somewhat slowing the process, I can tell you now that in most of the regions, the count for leadership has been completed, the count for chairman has been completed, but in the larger regions, they still have to move to the vice chairpersons. Of course, they have to identify two persons who have received the most votes, and of course, then they go to the treasurer's position. But the block of that 15 central executive members, that is the area in which many of the counts are slowed because of the sheer numbers of persons who contested those positions. During nomination period, there was some 700 persons who were nominated for the post of central executive member. And of course, those persons would have had to indicate their acceptance or decline that position. That narrowed the numbers down to about 175 persons who contested the post of central executive member, of which 15 out of that 175 have to be identified. And of course, as I mentioned before, in every region across the country, including the North American chapter, each individual had to identify 15 out of that 175. So the process there in terms of confirmation, in terms of the amount of vote per an individual, is what essentially slowed the process. But that is still ongoing in all of those regions, as I mentioned before, except region number 8, which made their submission earlier this afternoon, because that region had the smallest number of delegates who were entitled to cast a vote. Information now coming to hand. The Chief Elections Officer, Mr. Vincent Alexander, just moments ago arrived at Congress Place, Sophia, the party's headquarters, in which he will be engaged in a meeting. And of course, we'll bring you the details of that meeting very shortly. Again, the count as it relates to the post of chairman, or rather party leader, has been completed. The count for the post of chairman has been completed. The post for vice chairperson, treasurer, is still ongoing. And of course, then they still have to go to that big number, the 15 members of the Central Executive Committee. As we mentioned throughout today's proceeding, the only person that can make an official declaration of the results from these elections, that is Mr. Vincent Alexander. Those results will come, and of course, we will bring it to you live from Congress Place, Sophia, the headquarters here in Sophia. The count is still ongoing just outside under the auditorium, where the Georgetown district, the votes that have been cast by the delegates of Georgetown, is still being tabulated here at Congress Place, Sophia. And of course, there are still the large regions such as Region 3, 10, and 5, of which the count is still ongoing as it relates to the members of the Central Executive Committee. So we will continue to bring you updated information. We know it's been a very long day, but of course we assure you that the process is thorough, clear, transparent, and full accountability for what is happening. We showed you images outside of Congress Place, Sophia. We show you those images from region number 3, in which you had an illustration in terms of the process that is being had. In every location, there are observers who have been identified by the leader candidate throughout the country, and of course the same in the North American region. The NAR region, the report is the North American chapter of the PNC would have completed their voting exercise, and they would have made their submission as of 7 p.m. this evening. That is the North American chapter, and of course their results or their submission has to be tabulated by the Chief Elections Officer. So we still await those final numbers. The final numbers, we know, as I mentioned, it's been a long night, a very long night. It will be a very long night. It has been a very long day. We started here at Congress Place of Fire at 6 a.m. this morning. That is the technical team. And of course, we have representatives who are present at all 13 remote locations. And of course, we have a representative from the North American region in the person of Comrade Elaine Tapin, who has been keeping the public relations information updated as fast as the information is made available. So again, the Chief Elections Officer, Mr. Vincent Alexander, has just arrived at Congress Place of Fire. He's now engaged in a meeting, and of course we will bring you details of that meeting that is currently being had immediately thereafter. As we await the declaration of the results from the People's National Congress Reform's 21st Biannual Delegates Congress that was had today, Saturday, the 18th day of December in the year 2021. We continue to keep watch, and of course, stay tuned. We will bring you those results as soon as it is made possible. Goodbye for now.